Moving forward with the plan, I found it really hard to keep focused, first of all, because I'm a full-time student. I was in my first year of high school. School was a big factor on me maybe not staying as focused on Arts Against Addiction as I could have been. I was really overwhelmed and stressed because I was taking on a lot, and I felt like there was no one around me to kind of help out. It was really eye-opening how, I don't want to say awkward, but how uncomfortable I was with reaching out to new people I'd never talked to before. Shooting a random person that you've never met before a text message asking them to perform in your fundraiser is a really scary opportunity, and that was really stressful as well. I think that the biggest of all was figuring out how to collect the money, and I still had that deep fear in my gut that I would never be able to collect that money, and that was by far the biggest obstacle. The biggest obstacle was myself, because all of this self-doubt and this fear and this anxiety building up inside of me kind of prevented me from going out and doing God's work. I eventually realized that thinking that there was only one way to do something and that it was Emma's way was not going to get me through this event. The only way that I would get through this event is if I was following God's way. And it was really scary because sometimes God's way is not what you think is gonna work out. But it turned out that listening to him and kind of taking a step back and saying, this is yours, I'm giving it to you, this is for your work, it definitely improved my faith in the long run. Once I started trusting in God, things took off. I started gaining more acts, I started gaining more funds, and most importantly, I myself felt comfortable in what I was doing. I was no longer experiencing that self-doubt. I felt confident in the process, and I definitely was able to trust not only him, but also the people around me, because I knew that they were there for a reason. Because if they came to me without me searching for them or desperately clawing for volunteers, then God put them there for a reason. On the night of the event, we stood up on the stage, and my mom, who was the host of the event, announced to the entire crowd and everyone watching that we had raised the $10,000 and had gone above that, in fact. But within the next 3 days, I was given the news that we had not hit the $10,000 goal. There had been a donation error, and someone had donated $2,000 instead of $20,000. When I first found out, I was completely devastated. All of those fears that I had originally had came back, that I wasn't good enough, that this was happening for a reason, that this is happening because I didn't plan it well enough. I was terrified that we weren't going to be able to hit it, because here we are. The night of the event is over with only a month left to collect $2,000. And in those moments, I just felt worthless. And I reached out to people and told them about it, specifically Vincent, and he kind of affirmed me that $8,000 is more than they had before I had done this. So even if I didn't hit the goal, he was still incredibly thankful for the work that I had done. But that month was really tough. We worked really hard. I prayed a lot. God really became my best friend in that month. I felt like I was talking to him more than I talked to anyone else, just simply because I knew that there was no earthly way possible that I would ever be able to raise those $2,000 by myself. And eventually, all of our hard work and teamwork paid off, because we were able to collect the extra $2,000 and hit our $10,000 goal. We donated all of that money to Celebrate Recovery, and they were able to buy all new sound equipment and help put funds in the different meals that they give to people. Just knowing that I was able to not only do God's work, but help people like my dad, it's just an incredibly touching feeling. And knowing that I'm not the only one who can have this impact, knowing that God's story has a place for everyone, it really makes you realize that you are special, no matter how much the world around you tries to tell you that you're weird or you're a freak. God doesn't believe any of that, because He has a special place in His story just for you. To the person who thinks that they can't help, to the person who thinks that they're too insignificant to cause an impact, I just want to tell you that if you really put your trust in God and you don't try to do all the work by yourself, if you try to take other people in beside you and really put all of your faith into God and His abilities, nothing is impossible.